Hi guys, welcome to this live session, TWT with Sidhu Mentis. I have one of my online student with me. Her name is Pooja. Pooja joined me during the month of June, I would say, and finally she has nailed IIM Kozhikode, and she also has a lot of other records, which definitely she's going to talk about in this session. So, Pooja, first of all, congratulations and welcome aboard for this, TWT. So, I want to kind of understand from your side that what's your profile, which is like indeed like your percentages in 10th, 12th, and graduation. Then we kind of want to understand how did you prepare along with those live sessions that you had attended in C2C, and what was your experience with the GDPI, and how did the IMK interview went on and all the stuff. And we also want to understand how many calls you and what's going to be the future strategy. So over to you, Pooja.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much for having me, giving me this opportunity to share my experience today. I am a CBSE student. I secured 10 CGPA in my 10th standard, 90 percentile in the 10 on 10, yes. Awesome. 90 percentile in 12th science, and then I graduated as a computer science engineer from Pune University with 76 percentage.
Oh, great! You're from Pune University.
Yes, Siankad College.
Wonderful. And then you placed it with which company you placed with?
After my graduation, I got placed with Aptify Software Solutions, which is an MNC, and I worked as a software quality assurance engineer.
Okay, software quality assurance engineer. Wow, that sounds quite wonderful. Acha, Pooja, so tell me, how many years of work you have, and when you decided कि आपको CAT करना है?
So basically, when I started working, I observed how the organization works. And since it was a product development company, I got several opportunities to see that. And after around like 6 months of I have 1 year experience in total. After 6 months, they decided to promote me as a software developer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I changed my profile then, and I was taking part in all the activities. Like I did DevOps tasks, I did QA tasks, I did development tasks. So that gave me a lot of opportunities to explore different cycles of how a product development company works. And therein, and my manager was always available to answer all my doubts, as in where the marketing works, where the sales works, and so on. So it was there when I decided that I should go for this management education.
Wow, it's quite versatile profile you have. Okay, fair enough. So you started in the month of June.
Yeah, I started with my preparation in the month of June, and I was looking for a good mentor who could personally provide me tips and tricks to ace such competitive exams. So honestly, I did not want to go for some big names, because during my JEE preparations, I had suffered because of that. I wanted someone who could personally mentor, who has the willingness to, bring up the talent in a child and help him one-on-one. So there I was searching on YouTube for various videos, how to start your preparation, how to make a timetable, what is MBA all about, what is CAT all about, what are various competitive exams other than CAT for MBA. And then I found C2C Mentors videos, and then I approached you, and then I got you. And then you were there throughout my journey.
I'm glad that you joined us. So June se leke November, so that's around about 6 months ka preparation.
Yes.
So you prepared for 6 months, and what's your percentile, Pooja?
I secured 98.37 percentile.
Wonderful. You want to give us a breakup, like quants, DILR, and verbal?
I don't remember right now.
Okay, that's okay. Not a problem. So now what are we going to do now? We're going to start from a basic level. Okay. We're going to talk about the 3 sections. Quants, aapne kaise padhai kari? How did you prepare for VRC, sorry, and how did you prepare for DILR? So we'll start with the quants. So because you were working, you were not having a lot of time. The way, if I compare it with people, those who are not working, right? So tell me, what was your day look like? जब आप job करते थे, like how did you start with quants ka prep and all that?
So the one thing that is consistent throughout the 3 sections is to identify your strengths and weaknesses before you give it a start. So give a basic mock, full length mock, or a sectional mock, whatever you're comfortable with, and analyze where you're lacking and what are your strengths, like what level of preparation you need. And then according to the time left with you before the examination, and according to what time you can devote to it, I decided to make a timetable. And since I was working, I used to devote like 3 to 4 hours in the morning and 1 or 2 hours in the evening. So during the morning hours, I always thought to prepare the formulas with the QA section or go through the calculations like the percentage calculations to percentage to fractions, fractions to percentage. So I used to go through all those things in the morning. And during the office, I used to practice some random questions whenever I got some time during lunch time or tea break or whatever it is. And then in the evening section, we had our classes for QA section also. And after the class, if I got some time, I used to practice the questions. Or sometimes we also used to have calls from the office side. Since we were working with an MNC, so in the evening we had our calls. So that part was used to be compensated during the weekends.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of dedication and perseverance, by the way. So, yahi, matlab, this is what I've understood. I've interviewed a couple of more students also, Pooja, and those guys were also working. But yeah, when you work, actually, the dedication and determination has to be there. But I think the good part, like my personal opinion, is that having one person, a student who's working, on the other hand, somebody who's not working. So I think working wala bacha log are more dedicated because unko time milta nahi hai. So they can understand the time ka value. You know what? कि पहले से time नहीं मिलता, तो उनका time pass भी कम होता है, and they're like spot on. Great. So this kind of brings me to ask you a question. What's your view, or how did you kind of fare as far as QA and DLR sections, right? And as far as the coaching was concerned, like because like you attended the live lectures, right? So
yes.
Did that help you to kind of ace those two sections, workshop and all that? Like, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so the benefit of the live lectures was that I used to save a lot of time traveling. So I opted for the online lectures first point. And then as far as the working students and non-working students are concerned, I feel when you're working, you constantly have that thing running in your head that there are students who are devoting full time into this preparation. Absolutely. And you have to match their level. So you have to put in a lot of more efforts rather than what they are doing. So that brings you in a position to devote more and more time. So that is a benefit again. And when you leave your job, I think it has some guilt factor in your mind continuously that I have to do this, otherwise I don't have any backup to fall upon. True. So that is advantage of working students again. And as far as the online lectures are concerned, so I remember once you told us that if you take any topic, do it till a level that you can take a question and understand that what are the strategies I can apply on it. For example, for QA section, if I take geometry and I observe there is a circle with a diameter given, so I can understand that either it has to be the 90-degree angle wala property or some isosceles triangle coming up. So so you practice the question so many times so that you straight away think of strategies while looking at the question itself. And that helps you on the D-Day. When you see a question, you don't waste time thinking ki ye hoga ki nahi hoga. So you can come up with a solution that this is something new, leave it for now and go for some questions that we are more familiar with.
Wow. I feel good because this is exactly how I used to tell you guys in the lectures. So, and I'm happy that you actually implemented, executed that. Now, coming back to these three levels that we teach in C2C, basic, advanced, challenger. Any comment on that? Did it really help you to kind of build your quants? Any comment on that?
So the three levels that we have, the basic level is helpful for everybody, be it an engineer, non-engineer. You revise all your concepts, and sometimes you have in your mind that I'm an engineer, this all things we have practiced during our aptitude test and everything. But still, there are some few concepts that we miss out. So that basic level helps you to get a hold of each and every concept in that case. And when we move towards the advanced and challenger level, we can understand what topics we are more comfortable with and what topics we are not very comfortable with. So accordingly, we can devote our time and not waste time in, getting into something that we are not really into.
Right. So what happens basically, so I'll tell you, like being a student, why I decided this three levels, because basics, the way we kind of teach, and then when we move towards the advanced, it actually helps you to kind of grasp that advanced level. Because बहुत बार ये होता है कि basic इतना low level पे होता है और advanced इतना high level पे होता है कि वो connect बैठ नहीं पाता. And then we have challenges. So I want to kind of understand more about the challenger level. How was it? Did it really help you? Because everything that we did, Pooja, it was to get ready for the D-Day, and you absorbed my strategies very well. So I would love to hear something from you, because this is where the future CAT aspirants would also come to know.
So as far as the three levels are concerned, what advantage it gives us that on the D-Day, we will have a mixed bag of questions, be it basic questions, advanced questions, or the very high level, like we call as the challenger questions. So practicing basic questions of all the concepts is not going to be that helpful. So apart from being like jack of all and master of none, you get hold of certain topics and practice it till a moment that you don't get a certain question wrong from that topic. So that is where the level helps. So when a question from that particular topic comes, you know that I've practiced this topic till a level that I can crack any question, and you do not waste time on other things like hitting every question and trying out ye hoga nahi hoga. You don't waste time on that.
True. So of all these three, which was your weak area? Was it verbal?
No, it was not verbal. It was DILR section. I
that's
lacked
strange. Okay.
I had to practice time management a lot for that and quick calculations, like you told us.
Okay. Anything on the verbal part? What was your strategy? How did you study for verbal? Like how many hours you devote on a daily basis for verbal?
So for verbal, my daily routine was to attempt a single past previous year sectional of verbal. And every weekend I used to give a complete sectional and a full length if possible. And during my office hours, I used to make it a point to read the newspapers and read some articles online. I had few websites and I used to read articles from that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is not about, as you told us, that it is not about a certain domain of the articles coming up. Like it is not always psychology or mythology or something like that. So you have to come up with a strategy that applies for any damn article that you come across. So that was a key note while preparing for BARC section. Then I also followed the strategy of spending around 10-15 minutes on the BA part and then jumping to the RC section. So that I don't miss out on the obvious questions.
Perfect.
Yeah, so when you jump into the RC part, you analyze the LOD, which was the very main strategy that I applied, analyzing the LOD. Yeah, so when you look at a paragraph, you don't have to read the entire thing. You just go through the questions quickly, like we did the first para, last para strategy, or the first sentence, last sentence strategy, so on. So you get a quick overview of what this article is all about, and you decide whether to attempt it or not.
Right. Wonderful. This LOD actually, reminds me to kind of ask you a question, because if you look at, as far as the CAT is concerned, so as a student, we are always kind of running after a score.
Yeah.
That okay, let's just if I get 150, I'll be getting let's say 99 percentile, or if I get 100 marks, I will be getting around about 90 percentile. But I have always been of the opinion that you have to gauge level of difficulty of your paper, and accordingly on a DD, you have to take a call. So, did it really help you? Did that strategy, or maybe strategies like Godfather strategy, bucketing strategies, like any comment on the strategy front?
So the LOD strategy is like a Brahmastra. It always helps. So there is no copying of paper. No paper will be similar as the previous slot or the previous year. So you cannot rely on the previous percentiles ki itne pe itna aayega. You cannot do that. So every time you have to make a practice of gauging the LOD and then attempting the questions, because getting positive marks is as important, but not getting negative marks is even more important.
Absolutely.
Because whatever you have achieved, that also goes in vain if you get negative marks. So there is no point attempting questions just for the sake of increasing the count of questions.
Right. See, this is a very good point that you said, like increasing the count of questions, because a lot of time when I speak to students, what I get to know is that, Pooja, that if I want 45 marks, right, I can probably attempt 15 questions multiplied by 3, I'll get 45 marks in particular section. So if 45 nahi banta hai 15 se, so what we will do is, because our accuracy itni sahi nahi hoti, so we'll attempt 22 questions with 80% accuracy or 70% accuracy, and that's why we will get 15 questions correct. Like you have nailed it, like you've scored 98.37, right? First attempt, that too. So do you think that accuracy is something they should not be taking into consideration, or do you think that accuracy really plays an important role, at least for exam like CAT or ZAT?
For exams like CAT and ZAT, crucially, accuracy is a very important factor, because as I said that when you score positive marks, you're happy, but when it goes in negative, it counts. It is like +4 and -5 because you're not scoring that 3 or 4 marks. So that plays and plus on the top of that, you wasted your time attempting that question.
True,
very
true.
Like, for example, when I attempted the QA section, I went through the questions in a lap wise. Like first lap, you attempt so many questions, which comes in the first go. And then second cycle, you attempt some more questions, which you think it requires some calculation, par ban jayega. So those questions you attempt. And with the time you have left, select those questions which you will be able to do given some time. So concentrate your efforts on 1 or 2 questions which you can do with 100% accuracy rather than hitting and trial every question with some accuracy, some random thing. Yeah.
I remember the lab strategy. I remember. Perfect. Now, with this thing, what I want to understand is how many mocks in total you gave? Like in this 6-7 months, how many mocks you wrote actually?
I practiced a full-length mock every weekend when I was working. And before 1 month, like in the month of October, I gave mocks 2 to 3 mocks every week. I increased the count of mocks because it is not only the score of mock, but the practice of sitting at a place for 3 hours and concentrating on your paper is more important, because there have been times like you come across a section which is very difficult and you feel like I'll just close this browser and run away. And that is not how you like do. Because on the D-Day itself, that happened to me as well. When I attempted the VARC section, I came across the DILR. So on the first go, I could not crack even a single set. And I for 10 minutes, I was looking at the timer that the timer is running and this is gone. So this year is gone, like I was thinking. And then I again thought of your case. You once told us that the same thing happened with you as well. And then you came back and you solved the sets accordingly. So that practice is really important, and that is what mocks gives you. So the score is always not important. Obviously, the score is important, which helps you analyze, like the dashboard we had for C2C mentors. It gave a perfect breakdown of your weak topics and your strong topics.
Analysis.
So the analysis was top notch. And that practice of getting psychologically into a habit of sitting there for 3 hours and concentrating as if it is your D-Day paper is really a must-do thing for all aspirants.
Absolutely. So, Pooja, what's your take on this? Like, is it quantity of mocks or quality of mocks?
It is absolutely, undoubtedly quality of mocks. Because the quantity of mocks, what happens is there comes a point wherein you start taking it very lightly. Ye ho gaya, then next week we'll catch up. So, theek hai, har baar ka hi hai, let's leave this one. In the next one, we'll improve. So that should not happen. You finish a topic, you be confident about that and attempt the mock, which will give you a better analysis, is what I feel. Otherwise, what you feel is ki I hadn't prepared enough, so obviously I was going to score low. So that is not what we want, right? We are not wasting our 3 hours or 1 hour or whatever into that mock. We should get something out of that.
Right. What made me to ask this question is because, when a person like you say it, because you've converted IIM Kozhikode, and I'm very sure there are other colleges you will be able to convert. When you score 98.37 and when you made it to IIMK, what you say will have more value. No doubt about that. And that's where, I want all the students to understand that just by writing your mocks, 50 mocks, 60 mocks, 40 mocks, your score badne nahi wala hai. Until and unless you prepare yourself very well for those topics, you understand your mocks very well, then you will be seeing the growth in your score as and when you kind of keep on writing those mocks. So fine. So thank you so much for that clarification. Now, $1 million question for you, Pooja. When you started preparing for your CAT exam, did you decide earlier, what, I am going to be in IIMK, LI, or you just said to yourself that, what, I'm going to give me 110%. Let's see which college I get into. What was your attitude that point in time, like 6 months before the CAT?
Right. So when I started for CAT, apart from getting a management education, my other dream was also to get an IIM tag. So I've always thought that IIT nahi hua 12th ke baad, so let's get an IIM tag at least.
Revenge.
So at least an IIM tag. So, it adds a value to your profile a lot. Definitely. When you have a tag of a prestigious B school. So that was a great motivation throughout the journey of 6 months. And I remember you telling us in between, you put your 100%, and even if you don't convert, or even if you don't get a certain percentile, and even if you don't reach your goal, you'll always reach somewhere better than what you are today.
Very true.
So that I always kept in mind, and I gave my 110% because this was, I think, the last attempt I could get, because I had already done my graduation, 1 year job I had already done, and then I did not have a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
this was the first and last attempt. So that two things motivated me a lot, like getting that IIM tag and also giving your 110% for it.
How many calls you have, Pooja, in all? Like, did you apply IITs also?
No, I did not apply for IITs. I have IMK, Indore, and SP Jain and the cap round calls.
Achha. So, agar cap round वगैरह पकड़ के देखा जाए तो around about 14-15 calls you have, as far as I am concerned. So I think the only thing that you sort of kind of waiting for is Lucknow. मेरे ख्याल से.
Indore.
Achha, you don't have Lucknow per call.
No.
Achha, so Indore, okay. So IMK versus I'm Indore. Okay, fair enough. Now, I want to understand a little bit from your side as far as VAT and PI or the GDPI was concerned, as far as IMK is concerned. I just interviewed a girl before you, and she was like, I mean, this year ऐसा हुआ है कि IMK ने कुछ weird से ही questions पूछे हैं PI में. तो उस स्टूडेंट जो थी हमारी, उसको पूछा था क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन पे पॉसिबिलिटी बताओ कि कोविड का वैक्सीन कब तक निकलेगा. So that was a question. How did it go with in your case? Like, how was it?
So as you mentioned, what you got from the other student is absolutely correct. The questions were really weird, but I think what they were testing is how you present yourself, how honest you are, and how calm you remain. Because during my interview, after the obvious questions like introduce yourself, when they asked me a few questions on data mining, data analytics, since I'm from a computer science background. And after those questions, the professor asked me, what do you know about the stock market? To which I honestly replied that I do not know a lot of details, just a brief overview. And then he started asking me a lot of technical stock market questions. But I had already mentioned him that I do not know stock market, and still he went into it. To which I gave some questions according to my common knowledge and whatever I knew about it. But then when you don't know, instead of faking it, I think you should tell them that, sir, this is all I know, or sir, I'm not sure about it. So that honesty is what they are expecting of you, and how honestly you present yourself. Just be yourself there. And because even they understand that it is not possible for a student to know everything under the sky, right?
Absolutely.
So it is possible.
They were just checking your temperament, I guess, because sometimes people get really kind of, they start making weird faces. Like being a panel, if I'm going to ask you something that you definitely do not know, then it's fun to watch you.
Yeah.
And then you see your face, expressions and all. Because students do get sort of, kind of arrogant or aggressive. They're like, why the hell are you asking me this question, man, when I told you that I have no idea about this topic. But I think you managed it very well. On that part, any feedback for C2C mentors, GDPI preparation?
GDPI preparation started very well this year with the online interviews going on. Like the feedback was amazing for every interview that we had. The topics, VAT topics that you gave us were very good for practice. The VAT strategies that you gave us, like identifying the key hidden facts of that topic and briefing ourselves with some historical examples and so on, so that we can put it into the VAT paper. And also how you start a VAT, how you wherein you put in numbers or the paragraph forming techniques. So that was great again.
Perfect. Now, the most important question here for you, Pooja, is that what's your advice for the future generation of CAT? I mean, those who are going for CAT 2020. What's your honest advice for these? Because some students really want to know, what's there in that exam called as CAT? Kaisa kya hai ki wo crack hota nahi hai? So to crack it or to sort of, achieve it, what's your, advice to the students?
So the biggest thing is that if you want to achieve something which is worthy of achieving, it has to be difficult. And that is the thing, and that is the beauty of CAT, as you tell it. In your words, it is the beauty of CAT. It is a beautiful exam. And it is known for its surprises. It is known for its the tricks, the techniques. It is known for that. And that is an exam which a variety of diverse students appear, engineers, non-engineers, be it anybody, a variety of students are competing for that exam for that one seat. But also on the other hand, what people need to keep in mind is that let alone the competition, you have to put in your 110% because you're fighting for one seat. We are not bothered about the number of seats, number of category seats, the reservations, the general seats, and so on and so forth. We are fighting for that one seat. So just work on yourself so much that nobody can come and tell you that you're lacking in this, so we cannot put you in this college.
True.
So that is my only advice. Like, keep working on yourself. This is not only limited to CAT, but throughout it is important to keep working on yourself.
Do you think that there is any alternative or any substitute when it comes to CAT for hard work? Is there any substitute to the hard work, or it has to be like hard work?
It has to be smart work, as I say. Like putting all your time in one topic and digging it to the level to which it is not required, and then you say I've worked hard on this topic, doesn't make sense. You need to know what the exam is all about. You need to know its pattern. You need to analyze the previous things, the previous year papers and everything, and then go for a strategy preparation. So what important thing these competitive exams have is a strategy. Knowing the concepts is one thing, and having a strategy in place is another thing. And that is also a very important thing which you should develop over the mocks. So you test and try your strategies, which is working, which is not working. So on the D-Day, you have in your mind what I have to do. What I have to do when I look at the first question, when the paper appears in front of me, because that is a place, that is the day where it tests your everything, be it your psychology, be it your emotions, be it your knowledge. It tests everything. And people around you will keep on like doing weird things. I remember I went for one interview, and there was one person sitting in the front of me. We were both waiting for our turns to be interviewed. And he turned back suddenly and he asked me, what is the net worth of Elon Musk?
Oh, okay.
So like, why do you need to know the net worth? Who in the interview is going to ask you net worth of Elon Musk? You don't need to memorize the numbers, and you don't need to keep everything in mind. So what people play is they try to put you down, put your confidence level down. So we need to beware of such students as well.
Wow, nice. See, the one thing that I've spoken to you, a couple of times on the phone that I remember. But the good thing about you is that you're very sorted in your approach. So one thing or other couple of things that, I can kind of want to hear, students to understand is that being a CAT expert, I think you're very sorted, like you're mature enough. And you knew that what exactly you want. You went ahead with CAT with the realistic approach, and not something, which is, rosy, or not something which is there, which, does not exist. So, and, actually that's what makes me happy that, I could train students like you. Because it is just not the one thing, it has to be from both the sides. So yes, I mean, like whatever strategies we could give you, whatever lecture that we could give you, at the same time, applying that religiously, having trust in them, and, then, making it to the top B school like IMK. I'm really happy for you. And thank you so much for taking some time out and, joining this live session for TWT. Finally, I'm Kozhikode, right? This is done. Kozhikode. Yeah, your pronunciation mein bahut panga hota hai. So how it feels now, Pooja? Happy?
It feels like unbelievable experience. Like today, I feel nobody should stop dreaming, because dreams someday they will come true.
Wow.
And when I got that message from IIM Kozhikode that the list is out, I logged in with so much fear and like what happens if I don't make it or something like that. And the first thing that pops up on my screen is congratulations, Pooja, your CAT ID so-and-so has been selected. So for 2 minutes, I froze. I could not believe what is happening. I checked if I was typing something else, or I was seeing something else, or it was a dream. And then after 5 minutes, I whispered, like, my brother was sitting next to me. I told him that Kozhikode list is out and I'm selected. And he shouted like anything. Yeah. So until today, I keep on checking that 50 times a day, that is it really there? I hope it doesn't change. So that is a great feeling.
You know what? I'll tell you this from my experience. I mean, I know this interview is happening, but then I tell you, people, those who really work hard towards their dream, and you know, those who work hard with confidence, you know, मैं तो कर ही लेगा करके, ये नहीं वाला. Those who work in a very humble way, you know, I really want this in my life and I'm going to give my 110%. ये जो कैटेगरी होता है ना लोगों का, उनके साथ ऐसा होता है कि जब वो होता है ना, तो वो विश्वास नहीं आता. And you know what? That's what makes you go ahead. And trust me, when you go to IMK ना, you'll call me and tell me कि sir अभी ड्रीम और बढ़ गए हैं, और हमें अच्छा करना है, and ये होगा. Yoga. So that's what you are as a person, Pooja. So that's good. Keep that attitude, yeah. And along with you, there will be 4-5 more students. वो होंगे C2C के बच्चे हैं वो. तो you know you will be there in a group. Definitely मिलेंगे एक दूसरे से. एक student है, उसकी इंटरव्यू भी आएगी मेरे ख्याल से आपके बाद ही उसका वीडियो आएगा. We can have a look at that. So fine. So congratulations for IMK. Let me know आपका इंदौर होता है तब. ठीक है. Then we'll take a final call कि कहाँ पे आपको चलना है. And yeah, I only thing I have to say is that thank you so much for listening to me, for following me, and yeah, I'm proud of you. Yeah, thank you so much.